For $65, I got this bad boy. We're at 500 par on this side, so it stayed relatively the same. Close enough for government work. Bottom line is, if you purchase that upgrade kit, get a heatsink. It just occurred to me, I don't know why, my cheapness sensor must be off, because why am I not just purchasing these and hooking them up to a solar panel? Huh? What's up with that? So this here is the Vipar Spectra LED set for the Reef that I connected to the solar panel up there. Works amazing, love it. But now I'm thinking, if I'm going to start connecting these things to solar panels directly, because I like the way it worked, my only concern is wintertime here in Seattle might not get enough hours of sunlight. I know the intensity of the light is fine. As long as you have big enough panels, you're going to put plenty of energy into these LEDs to light them up. I know that because my kitchen LEDs come on perfectly bright in the wintertime. Even when it's cloudy, because I have the right amount of solar panel on there for those lights, which I'll do the same for these. So, but the question is, hours of sunlight in the summer are really long, and the hours of sunlight in the winter are really short. So how's that going to affect the corals? So we're going to find out. Am I getting too much sunlight in the summertime? Am I not getting enough in the wintertime? And if so, if that's the case, maybe I can add a battery to prolong the amount of time that I'm gonna run these in the winter, so I can squeeze an extra hour or two out of them in the wintertime, and in the summer just shut that battery down. I don't know how I'm gonna do that exactly. So what do we have? We have these LEDs. I'm paying $150 for this Vipar because now the price has just been going up, up, up. I think I bought my first Vipar for $80, $89. That was an amazing deal compared to the $150 they are now. They got popular and the price went up. That's what happens in the Reef. Things get popular and the price goes up. Even when they're not popular, if the brand is popular, the price is up. But what I don't like is this big, heavy box. It's too heavy. I don't want to put it on top of my tank. I don't want it resting on my lid up there because it's causing my lid to bend if I put all this metal. I mean, this is beautiful metal, and if you want to hang it from the ceiling, that's great. I don't like this box because everything that stays inside there, this power supply gets hot. You plug that in and those MOSFETs start going and this transformer starts going and it gets hot. So this is hot, the LEDs are hot, they're all inside of a box. You've got these fans going, the motor and the fan is hot, and the fan is just trying to keep up with keeping all that stuff cool, and the fans are tiny, they're making all kinds of noise. So I got rid of the box. These don't need the box. That's why I took them out of the box, and I took the power supplies and put them underneath the tank. Keeps the underneath the tank warm. And the controller, all that really is doing for me is adjusting the intensity of the light, and it has a timer. So if I'm adjusting the intensity of the light with the solar panels, then I don't need a controller for that. What I do need is a timer, but the solar panels are only coming on when the sun is on, so I don't need that either. So therefore, I don't need the power supply, I don't need the box, I don't need the fans. So why am I paying $150, $160 for this big giant thing that I only really need this? And there's an upgrade PCB of LEDs out there. For $65, I got this bad boy. And these have more UV. I don't know if they have more color, like red and stuff like that. I'm finding in the Nano that if you get those reds and greens up and the yellows, that really adds a lot of nice color to the corals that are in there. The zoas and my anemones it's just popping in that little reef bowl. and they're not really popping here in this tank. So hopefully this light has a better spectrum, has more of the colors. I don't know, we're gonna find out. But cut out the middleman and just go straight for the board. Right, that's all you need is the board. I love this board, look how thin it is. Now, one thing that I did read is that the connection is going to be different. I think I have some of these connections because some of the stuff in a computer, when you plug stuff into a computer, has that same connection. So I think I can go grab some of those and plug the solar panel directly into there. That way it's a nice, easy plug and play. That's pretty cool. Now this guy says he's got some 90 degree and some 120 degree, where these are all 90. It's gonna be fun to put it on and compare them side by side just to see how they look. I see some are frosted, so they're diffused a little bit more. Maybe those are the whites. We'll find out, we'll plug it in. Now also, another thing about this guy is he doesn't have a heat sink. Look at this, wow. Look at this wonderful heat sink that's on here. This is a really nice heat sink. I don't know that it needs it. I'm going to measure the temperature, get the part of where I want it and measure the temperature and see. It's really light compared to this. This is heavy. I think it's heavy because of the heat sink. So we're going to find out if it needs a heat sink. If it needs a heat sink, then I'll have to get a heat sink and put it on the back of this. They claim that this is thicker and that's why it doesn't need a heat sink. I'm gonna go ahead and take a heat measurement off of each one of these. We're gonna go ahead and use an infrared meter to do that. I've got a partition in the middle, little board in between the two. It's a black board. Okay, right in the center there, we are at 379, 378 par. And that's, I don't have them matched up perfectly, but they're pretty close. There we go. Just have to get it to the middle. So they're pretty well matched. Now, what we'll do is we'll take the temperature. They claim, the people who sell this dude, which I'm not going to name the company. I think there's only one anyway. Y'all probably know who that is already. I use my little caliper measuring device and they're identical. This is not any thicker than this one. I believe, I wonder myself if somehow the guy has a deal to just purchase these with the LEDs already on them, or I don't know what the deal is. They're super identical, except for the way they bring this up. Like this hole is drilled off to the side over here, and there's one hole in the middle. This one does not have the one hole in the middle, so you will not be able to screw this part in, but it's not really necessary. And these come up through two holes on either side of the center. We're at 77. You don't have to look at that upside down. No, I can flip it and we can still see. We're at 77 degrees. And over here we're 83 degrees. So it's not that hot. I'm running them at about 50%. The ones that I have up there, I'm currently running some at, I think that one on that side is running at 60%. This one in the middle with, there's some acropora hiding behind that, behind there. Anyway, I've got it running at about 85%. And this one over here, I'm running it like at 55% because there's, pretty much nothing. What if I drive it up? Let's drive it up a little higher. Let's get those temperatures to max out, because the big claim on that is that you don't need a heat sink. But I've heard people are burning their LEDs out on that one, and my guess is because this is getting too hot. For my situation, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that to work, because I like pushing it pretty high in the middle. Maybe I can use these other ones without a heat sink on the sides where I don't ask for a lot of power. So now we're running at 100%. We're up to 466 par on this side. And then let's just grab this, move it over to the other side. And we're at 500 par on this side, so it stayed relatively the same. Pretty close, close enough for government work. Yeah, all right, so now I'm gonna probably have to pull the plug on this experiment pretty quick because I can't imagine that it's gonna wanna, look at that, we're already at 93 degrees on that side. And we're still at room temperature on this side, 77 degrees. Oh, let's try it off the side here. We're up to 81, 82. 82 degrees if we're off the heat sink. But this one here, 95 degrees, and it's probably gonna warm up even more. So yeah, we're pushing 95 degrees. That's not too bad, but I don't like it. I don't like it that hot. I could also purchase a heat sink. I was gonna attempt to put this little hard drive heat sink that I have on there, and of course I'd have to put some thermal on there. They do have heat sinks slightly bigger than this one actually on Amazon for 20 bucks. I think it would be 2 inches longer this way and 2 inches longer this way. And that would definitely solve my heat situation. But then instead of $65 for that, I'm at $85, right? So it might be worth it to pay the extra 20 bucks. Where am I now? And the heatsink itself is at 78. So it's pulling some heat. Yeah, it's definitely pulling heat. I can feel, oh, that's warm. That's a little too warm. I don't like that. Even with the fan going across it, I'm gonna go ahead and turn them off now. I think we've got all the data that we need on those. Bottom line is, if you purchase that upgrade kit, get a heatsink, or make sure those fans that are up there are in bleeding working order, because they're gonna have a lot of cooling to do on this thing. I don't trust that. I don't trust just having the fan on. As soon as the fan goes bad, and I've had so many PC computer fans go bad on me over the years. It just happens, and you don't know that it happens because you can't really hear them, really. I mean, you hear them, but if one's running and the other one's not running, you're not really going to hear that. And the other thing is that inside the box, the heat is going to multiply because you have those power supplies, and you heads, and they're all inside this metal cage. I don't care what kind of fan you have going in there, that heat's going to multiply. And that's why I'm sure of it, people's units are burning out. I just thought this is kind of cool. It's 6:30 in the morning. The sun is definitely not up, but the sky is light. And some photons are hitting that solar panel. That's pretty cool to me. It's a nice thing to wake up to, grab your first cup of coffee, and you have this kind of little light just kind of shining down on the reef.
I was wondering why that ball kept getting bigger, and then it hit me.
That was awesome.
So bad. Yeah.